Hello family, welcome to my new video, how to get a mortgage to buy your first house in 2023. My name is Emilio Cotto with EXP Realty from New England to the Sunshine State. I am your first choice for real estate. Now, if you like any of this video, all right, any content that I provide, any information, if you think it's awesome information or you've gained some type of understanding and knowledge, please like and subscribe so you continue getting more videos like this moving forward on a weekly basis. We're going to touch on some of the things on how to buy a home, your first time home, how to get a mortgage in 2023. So number one, improve your credit score. The higher credit score, the better it is. Some of the things to look at in your credit report, right? Credit cards. Are they below 30%? 30% is the rule of thumb, but if you could keep them below 10%, remember, the banks are qualifying you based on debt to income ratio. So the more debt you have, the less they'll approve you for. So remember, try your best to minimize that debt. The easiest way to do this is look at how much money you got coming in your income and how much money you're spending, right? How much money is going out. All your expenses, you need to write them down. What are your fixed expenses? What are your adjustable expenses, right? Fixed expenses usually is your car note, your rent, things that is a set amount, right? Your mobile phone, things of that nature. Now, the things that are adjustable is like your utility bills, right? And things that are, like your credit cards are adjustable because based on how much you owe on them will determine how much you're gonna pay on a monthly basis, right? So remember, credit cards is very important. Bring down your credit cards to zero, right? And don't use them for the next couple of months until you get the house, right? Also very important, do not pull your credit while trying to get a house. That's another thing that your hard inquiries do affect your credit score. Minimizing your debt or bringing down your credit cards will increase your credit score and will allow you to qualify for more money and obviously have lower interest rates, right? Other things that you need to look into, personal loans, car notes, are these things that you could refinance before you get pre-approved, right? If you could refinance to get a lower rate or just pay it off completely, especially tax season just came in, maybe you might want to pay those things down. Just saying, I did do a video on taxes, so you guys get a little understanding of how to navigate with your taxes and stuff like that. Also collections, people don't know. There's a lot of credit agencies or credit repair companies that tell you you don't need to pay your collections. Whether that's true or not, I cannot verify that information, right? I'm not gonna get into the legalities of all that. What I have seen personally and what I always recommend is this. If you cannot pay the full amount, you call the collection agencies and you can negotiate to pay 50% of that collection, right? So for example, if it's a $500 collection that you have, call them, negotiate, tell them, hey, listen, I'm trying to buy a home. Okay, this collection is actually hurting me. What can I pay today to get this removed? You could even say, hey, if it's $500, say I have $200. Could I give you this and we could get this over with? And if they say yes, cool. If not, usually they'll say no, you could pay $250. Okay, fine, pay that $250. Make sure you try to get an email from them. A lot of times they do it, sometimes they don't, saying that they will get it removed from your credit bureaus, right? On the credit bureaus that it is, whether it's Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion, or all three, they'll send you that email saying that as long as you pay, that they'll be able to notify the agencies that you paid it off and get it removed. A lot of times they take their time in doing that. So what you do is get an ID, a copy of your ID, a copy of your social, a copy of that email, and a copy of you making that payment, submit it to the credit bureaus and ask them to get that removed because they did say they were going to remove it. Boom. A lot of times they do that. Sometimes they say it over the phone that they will do that. And remember, you're on a recorded line. So when you're talking to say, hey, just to make sure we're on a recorded line, right? Yeah. So you're saying that as long as I pay this, you'll get it removed off my bureaus. Yes. Boom. Use that as evidence just in case to kind of like let them know, hey, I know what you guys are doing. I know what I'm doing also. I want to make sure I hold you guys accountable by letting you know that you are on a recorded line, because sometimes they tell you you're on a recorded line and they tend to forget, right? So that's that regarding your credit score. Please try to pay things down so your credit score increases, okay? There's more little tactics that you could do with your credit report, and I will actually write that down so I can make videos on how to navigate with your credit report. Number 2, please save for down payment. There are, like me, I could get 0 to no money down, but at the end of the day, it does not matter. You need to make sure that you save money in the bank just in case to have leverage, right? People that don't have money, you have no power, you have no control, and it makes it a little bit difficult, right? I could only do but so much as your realtor. The more funds you have, the better it is. We could at getting the house that you want. Save for down payment. So a good rule of thumb is usually you put 3 to 3.5% down on a loan. That's a first time homeowner, right? But the traditional method is you put 20% down. So if you think about it, if you're trying to get a $300,000 home, you need about $60,000 in your bank. Who has that just sitting down? Right. That's why you do, as a primary resident, you could do 3.5 as a government loan, FHA, 3% down as a conventional. Sometimes if you're a secondary home, but you're going to move into it, as long as you're a primary resident, you could put 5% down. So it depends. That's why it's important. Talk to your realtor, who's always, like me, who's always talking to different lenders, trying to figure out what little loopholes there is that we could take advantage of, right? So saving money, 3 to 3.5%, sometimes 5%, worst case scenario, 20% down, right? Now, another good rule of thumb is your closing costs. Your closing costs consist of 2 to 5% of the purchase price. So remember that 3 to 5%, right, for your down payment, and 2% to 5% for closing costs, right? Your closing costs consist of taxes, insurance, your attorneys, the appraisals, inspections, the bank fees, and things to that nature, right? So that's that. Number 3 is important. You need to get pre-approved before looking for a house. I will not waste my time showing you properties when you're not pre-approved. Why? Because I'm going to end up showing you properties that you may not like. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's say you don't like it. What I mean is that I'm going to show you properties that you fall in love with, but you do not qualify for. Okay, so that may be the problem there. So that's why it's crucially important. I use crucially important a lot. I don't know why, to emphasize how important it is, right? It's extremely important, very important that you get pre-approved to know what do you qualify for, so we can look at properties that are based on your budget. Looking at, if you're approved for $500,000, but you're looking at houses that are $1 million properties, it just doesn't make sense. Why am I going to show you $1 million property when you don't qualify for $1 million property? Then you go look at the $500,000 property and be like, wait a minute, I want this and I want that and I want this. Listen, that's what we call a champagne expense with a Coca-Cola budget. Excuse me, no offense to Coca-Cola. I actually like Coca-Cola. I don't drink it as much, but I've drunk it, okay? And so that's very important. Please get pre-approved. You got to talk to your lender. And a lot of times you guys want to go to a traditional bank like Bank of America, Chase, and stuff like that. They have strict requirements. All right, it's important to talk to a broker who works with different banks, okay? If you don't know a lender, please call me. I got you on the lender. And number 4, provide all required documents, right? The banks are going to ask you for many documents. Some of those documents, 2 years of tax returns, 2 years of W-2s, 60 days of bank statements, 30 days of pay stubs. They will ask you for proof of employment. They're going to do verification of employment, verification of income. They're going to be doing a lot of things, and you're going to ask you for a lot of documents. So please make sure you have these documents in hand. Some of these documents you could get from your HR department. Some of these you could go to your bank and ask for these. But whatever the banks ask you for, please make sure you be ready to provide this information, because this is the only way they'll be able to pre-approve you, right? Because if you do not give them your documents and they give you what you think is a pre-approval, that's not a pre-approval, it's a pre-qualification. That means you qualify for a certain amount based on word of mouth, what you told them you make and what expenses you have. that may not be the real case, right? The real case is you provide your documentation, they could see the facts, and they go pull your credit score. And they see the debt because they go based on your debt to income. And that's how you actually get pre-approved. That's why it's important to have these documents at hand. So remember, this is how to get a mortgage to buy your first home in 2023. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me 860-938-0549. I'm here for any questions. If you know anyone that's looking to purchase or is interested in purchasing in the near future, ask them to call me. I don't mind talking to them, free consultation. I do this like it's a passion of mine. It's not a job because I really love what I do. I really love helping people. Again, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. You only live once. Peace and love, baby. Have a good one, guys. Peace.